Good evening, I'm Mr. Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. And there's no bigger story right now than COVID-19. Yesterday we saw our highest one-day spike so far with 190 new cases in a single day. And today we saw our second highest one-day spike. On Sunday, Malaysia's total COVID-19 cases almost doubled in a single day to 428 cases. And today that number grew to 553 cases. Health Minister Dr Adham Baba at the ministry's daily press conference on the COVID-19 situation announced another three-digit increase with 125 new cases as of Monday. It is the second highest single-day increase to date following yesterday's record of 190 new cases.
Kita akan menunggu pengumuman Perdana Menteri pada malam ini, ya. Maksudnya apa tu? Pengumuman Perdana Menteri, kita tunggu saja. We have to come and tonight.
Adham added that the number of patients in the intensive care unit requiring the aid of a ventilator to breathe have also increased from 9 to 12. According to the minister, 95 of the new cases can be traced to the cluster of participants who had attended the multi-day religious gathering at a mosque in Kuala Lumpur recently. Apart from panic buying, how serious are Malaysians with fighting the spread of COVID-19? Dr. Mahathir isn't too impressed.
Following 2 days of three-digit increases in new COVID-19 cases, former Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad addressed Malaysians through a video broadcasted on Facebook.
Saya lihat keadaan di Malaysia dan saya nampak seolah-olah orang Malaysia ni tidak begitu serius berkenaan dengan menangani coronavirus ini. Kalau kita tidak berjaga-jaga, dia akan terkena kepada ribuan rakyat Malaysia.
Previously, in an interview with Bloomberg TV, Dr Mahathir, who as Premier oversaw Malaysia's worst economic crisis in 1997, said that the ongoing COVID-19 situation is worse than what he had to deal with during that time. In the face of the Asian financial crisis in 1997, Mahathir imposed strict capital controls, which were heavily criticized by the international community. However, more than a decade later, the International Monetary Fund reversed its position and admitted that the measures had helped Malaysia. This period saw several banks on the verge of collapse and was forced into a merger. The outbreak of COVID-19 beginning in Wuhan, China in January has severely impacted the global economy as several countries go into lockdown in a bid to contain the virus, which has spread across the world.
Many have labelled the Perikatan National Government a backdoor government, but how accurate is this label? According to the ruler of Selangor, people should stop using that term. Selangor ruler Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah revealed today that he personally followed closely the change in power. The Sultan said the entire process was very carefully carried out by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and strictly followed provisions of the Federal Constitution. He said based on this, allegations that the new Perikatan National Government was installed through a coup or is a backdoor government should cease. The ruler also called the allegations inaccurate. Sultan Sharafuddin said this during his officiating speech of the new Selangor State Assembly sitting for the year. He added that even though Selangor is still led by a Harapan government, he hopes for a close cooperation with the federal government. Following Mahathir's resignation on February 24th, Muhyiddin's faction of Bersatu quit Harapan and aligned with BN PAS and Gabungan Parti Sarawak to form Perikatan Nasional and claimed the government from Harapan. Gombak MP Azmin Ali and 10 other lawmakers from PKR also left the party to align themselves with the new government. Dr Mahathir is uncontested for the position of Bersatu chairperson, but Muhyiddin Yassin may face some contest, with Mukhris Mahathir throwing his hat into the ring for the president's post.
As Bersatu prepares for a party election to decide who gets to helm the party, it appears that the top leaders will be defending their positions despite recent developments. For starters, former Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad, whose resignation as chairperson from the party was rejected, will now be defending that very position as he submitted his nomination papers at around 1:40 p.m. today. He was the only person to submit his nomination papers for that particular post. However, the party has yet to announce whether this means he has won the position uncontested. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, who is currently the party president, has submitted his papers to defend that position instead of gunning for the position of chairperson, effectively avoiding a confrontation with Mahathir. However, he will be facing off with Mahathir's son, Mukris Mahathir, who will be contesting against Muhyiddin for the president post. Muhyiddin had previously declared himself the acting chairperson of Bersatu during the political crisis that saw the collapse of the Pakatan Harapan government and Muhyiddin's subsequent swearing in as the 8th Prime Minister of Malaysia. An official announcement made by the party Secretary General Marzuki Yahya on the 27th of February stated that Mahathir remains as the Bersatu chairperson. According to a report by Bernama, Muar MP Syed Sadiq Syed Abdul Rahman, one of 5 Bersatu MPs who is aligned with Mahathir, has also submitted his nomination papers to defend his post as the party youth chief.
I know many of you are worried about the COVID-19 outbreak, but you know what does not help? Spreading fake news. If you're unsure, don't share it. Check with reputable news sources and know your family WhatsApp group doesn't count. The Royal Malaysian Police will be tracking down individuals behind the spread of a poster on social media called COVID-19 Hour. The poster, which contained false information, told Malaysians to stay indoors and avoid going to public places for several hours on Monday. According to IGP Abdul Hamid Badur, the act of spreading such false information was simply irresponsible. He said the police will be looking for the people behind the poster. He also advised Malaysians to consider the impact something could have on the public before posting any information online. Yesterday, Health Minister Dr Adham Baba denied the rumours, saying there were no lockdown orders in Malaysia as a result of COVID-19. As of Sunday afternoon, the Health Ministry reported 190 new cases of COVID-19 in a single day, bringing the total number of cases to over 400. The former Deputy Health Minister believes that time has come for more drastic measures. Former Deputy Health Minister Dr Lee Boon Chye said it's time for the government to focus on mitigation instead of tracking close contacts of confirmed COVID-19 patients. This is because Lee said it would be difficult to track down and isolate potential cases due to the enormous number of cases and contacts. He said the focus should now be placed on mitigation by reducing the number of cases and optimizing healthcare resources. Lee proposed for the closure of all schools and colleges, universities and kindergartens for 1 month. He said the government should also bar all gatherings for 1 month, including religious, social and sports activities. The purpose of the control measures is to delay and prevent severe outbreaks until the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, or effective treatment is discovered, Lee explained. The Gopeng MP added that hospitals should focus on treating severe cases, while mild cases and patients without symptoms should be kept at special areas with less intensive care. Malaysians stuck in the world's worst-hit COVID-19 countries may come home soon.
Wisma Putra is preparing to bring home 78 Malaysians from Italy and 48 from Iran as the COVID-19 outbreak continues to worsen in these countries, following up on Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's announcement that the government would be bringing back Malaysians who are in Italy and Iran through special missions.
Kemungkinan besar dalam seminggu ini tertakluk kepada perundingan kerajaan kita, Kementerian Luar dengan kedua-dua negara yang terlibat ini.
Malaysia has previously flown back its citizens from Wuhan, China via 2 missions. Yesterday, Foreign Minister Hishamuddin Hussein said that the preparations included identifying the locations of all Malaysians in the 2 countries as well as ensuring they were registered with the Malaysian embassies in Italy and Iran.
Coming up next, we see what COVID-19 is doing to the world. Don't go anywhere. This next story is brought to you by Blue Air. France and Spain have joined Italy in imposing lockdowns on tens of millions of people.
Major cities across Europe have been silenced by lockdown measures brought in to tackle the spread of COVID-19. Italy's government imposed a quarantine throughout the country in its latest attempt to contain a growing outbreak of the coronavirus. A section of a usually busy motorway in Lombardy was deserted. The streets of Paris were a surreal place on Sunday, with scenes of shuttered cafes, quiet streets and empty stores playing out across the French capital. The coronavirus outbreak has forced the closure of attractions including the Louvre Museum and the Eiffel Tower. A few people were seen lying at Barcelona's beach or doing sports at the promenade before local police sealed the area and asked them to return home following the measures of the state of emergency. Elsewhere in Spain, the state of emergency was felt in the capital Madrid, where bars, restaurants and shops selling non-essential items are shut for 15 days.
COVID-19 has managed to suck the life of one of the greatest cities on earth.
The fast-spreading COVID-19 pandemic is pushing New York City closer towards lockdown, as the city mayor Bill de Blasio said on Sunday that he would order restaurants, bars and cafes to only sell food on a takeout or delivery basis. He also said he would order nightclubs, movie theaters, small theater houses and concert venues to close. The death toll from COVID-19 rose to 65 in the United States on Sunday, prompting the Fed to cut interest rates to close to 0% in a bid to stem the crumbling global economy. Further south in Colombia, President Ivan Duque said that they will block entry to travelers who are not residents or citizens, while schools and universities will be closed starting Monday. They have a total of 34 cases, having sharply risen to that figure from their first case just 10 days earlier. The country has also deported 9 foreigners who ignored an obligatory 14-day self-isolation notice. Over in Europe, Switzerland has also begun closing schools and banning public gatherings after hitting a total of 1,559 cases on Sunday.
Researchers are working around the clock on a COVID-19 vaccine. Some worrying allegations have surfaced.
Even in a time of crisis, politics finds a way. A report surfaced saying that the German government is trying to stop the United States from persuading a German company to move its research on a COVID-19 vaccine to the United States. According to the story in local newspaper Welt am Sonntag, US President Donald Trump had offered financial initiative to lure German firm CureVac to the United States, and that Germany was making efforts to keep them on German soil. US officials then responded to the story with the US ambassador to Germany, Richard Grenell, tweeting that, quote, the Welt story was wrong. Another US official said that the story is overplayed and that the United States will continue to talk to any company that claims to be able to help, and any solution will be shared with the world. German politicians insist that no country should have a monopoly on any future vaccine. A spokesperson from the health ministry who confirmed that the exchange with the US indeed happened said that, quote, the German government is very interested in ensuring that vaccines and active substances against the new coronavirus are also developed in Germany and Europe. Meanwhile, CureVac issued a statement on Sunday to reject any rumors of an acquisition. The private company hopes to have an experimental vaccine ready by June or July for human testing.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.